And tonight we will be discussing the topic of sponsors and young ladies. So, as you can see here, I've been reading Steve Harvey, Straight Talk, No Chaser, a great book. Definitely, ladies, go pick this up if you're looking to find the next boo. And the topic of sponsors, let's go on ahead and clearly define what a sponsor is before we get started. Well, we get the term sponsor, which basically means he's spending money on you. And I think there's an expectation attached to that money that he's spending on you. So he takes you out on dates, pays for a couple of drinks. Wherever you guys go, every outing, he's shelling out the money. But what does he expect in return? That's the question. And that's kind of the job description of a sponsor. So, Samara, tell me what you think about this.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what Steve Harvey is saying. As far as what a sponsor is, someone who's going to pay for you, and of course, in return, they're going to expect sex.
Okay.
Of course, it's just the automatic assumption. And so, I really don't agree with the whole sponsor thing, because you just like using a man, and at the same time, he's using you. And especially if you don't see it going anywhere in the future, I just don't think sponsor is not classy. And it is just like a form of prostitution, as Steve Harvey says. So I would never get involved in anything like a sponsor.
Okay, so let me address what she's saying. The line that Steve Harvey says is, sure, you may be getting some nice things, but honestly, accepting gifts from a guy without getting what you want in return is nothing more than an advanced form of prostitution. So though you're getting the money, what are you giving up in return for that money is the question. So let's take it a step further and say you have a sponsor, but what if you don't do anything physical with them at all? Maybe he just offers to pay for all these things. There's no sex involved, anything at all, yet he still pays for these things. Then how does that change your perception or view of sponsorship?
I still think in that case, if you don't have feelings for him, I still think it's sponsored. You're still using this man. But I think if you actually like him and you see a future with him or anything, then I think those are just gentleman acts. If a man wants to spoil you, but you have mutual feelings for him, then I think it's okay.
In sponsorship, if you like him,
I wouldn't call it sponsorship then. If you actually like him, and maybe you're giving him things in return, not sex, but just maybe your time, attention. If you guys can share more things than just him buying you stuff all the time, then I don't think it's sponsorship. I just think that's just a man that wants to spoil his woman, And I think it's okay in that case to allow him to buy you things.
I think there's a difference between investing in something, simply investing, which is what sponsors do, that you're investing. I'm giving you my money, and in return, I expect to be invested with that booty. You know what I mean?
I agree.
But there's a difference between investing and simple gentlemanly acts,
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But I think men can invest in other ways. A man can invest, like, a lot of guys think, we've been talking for 2 months. He's investing his time, so then he thinks, he also can get.
And to say something we were talking about in the beginning, before we started taping this episode, we discussed how much attention do you really pay to a man when he first takes you out on a date, and you always bring your money at first on that first date, because you never know, if he's broke or if he's going to end up leaving you with the bill. You always got to have that debit card on deck, At least bring a solid 50, because you don't want to be in the back washing dishes because he was broke and left you hanging. So I think that first date sets the tone for all other dates, because if you go there with the notion of, okay, I might have to pay for myself, that's okay, and you walk away, you pay for yourself, you still, if it's a good date, you're like, okay, maybe I'll give this a try again. But if he pays for that date, that first date, you're like, wow, I kind of like this guy,
Right.
He gets a lot more attention. And if he shows up to the date, doesn't have any money for dinner, and say, I don't get paid until next week, and you got to pick up the bill, then that's the last time you're ever going to see him again,
Right. Right.
So I think there's variations of sponsorship from the beginning of relationships too, you know? Not to say that you expect him to pay for everything, but there is an expectation on those first couple of times around, like, I mean, you gonna put in, or you gonna pay for this, or, you know, and it changes the way you look at a man as well, yeah?
I agree, definitely. I mean, it's not always about money, but it's just, money sometimes can be important. It's just the way that a man presents himself with his money, you know?
All right.
Like what you're saying on the date thing, if a man, you know, just openly just comes out and tells you, I mean, it's cool. No, let me start that over. Okay. No, if a man, it takes you out and pays for your dinner, you're going to be really happy, you know, and that, it's just a good feeling. Oh, he's paid for my dinner. That's very nice. But then, that's not everything. But then, on the other hand, if a man is coming towards you like, oh, you know, I'm broke, I ain't got nothing. You know what I mean? That kind of turns you off. Even though it's not all you're looking at them for, it's just, I don't know, it's just the way, what am I saying? Like, it's just,
I think it depends on how he asks you too. Like, if you asked me out and you didn't have, if you knew you didn't have any money for this date,
right?
Why am I paying for this? You know, then you get upset.
Exactly.
But if I asked you out and you still didn't have any money, I might have a little. Even in that instance, this is real talk, and I'm gonna keep it real. That is unacceptable because you knew you shouldn't have showed up at the restaurant knowing you didn't have any money, and I got paid for it. Ridiculous.
Right. And I mean, you can make up an excuse. You don't have to come out and just say it like, I'm just flat out broke. I mean, like, you can make an excuse, you know, just think of maybe an alternate date that's free but still nice, you know? I think just the way a man presents his money is just kind of important, you know? I mean, it's not the fact that he just has money you just want him to spend it all on you. I mean, it really just all depends on the situation.
And to take that a little step further, to go a little bit beyond topic here, a wise friend of ours, Amisha Banks, once said, if a man can hide his tears, he can hide his brokenness as well. Now, as women, we feel we have this conversation. There will never be one time that I will sit there and just tell you that I'm flat out broke and I can't do anything. You know what I mean? That I don't got no money, I can't make it.
It's kind of a pride thing.
It is a pride. I'm going to have the most extravagant excuse, something that I just can't make it, you know? I mean, or I'll come up with something creative, something else that we can do, you know? Be creative. Don't just say I'm broke, we can't go to a dinner, we can't go to date. Say, maybe let's go to the park, or, you know, I made us a little lunch. Let's go walk around the park, or, you know, walk around City Park. There's a lot of free things that you can do that don't cost money, you know? And you don't have to mention that it's not the fact that you don't have any money. Like she said, it's how you present your money. And especially if you just, I mean, that's a common statement all the time, and there's no ambition behind it or drive to, I guess, reach a different status, a different social status, then that's just not attractive either, you know? I mean, we're all broke as college students. We all, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm not going to keep telling you that all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, back to the topic of sponsorship. We don't want to hold you too long, and I can't hold you too long anyways, because I'm on a 10-minute time limit. You know, YouTube videos over 10 minutes just don't load well, so we're going to keep this short. And end with a great quote here Steve Harvey says about sponsorship. He, see the man before the money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, see the man before the money. It's not all about money all the time.
It definitely isn't, because you can find a good man, a good broke man, but make sure there's some ambition behind it, not just brokenness. Ambition and broke.
Right.
Yeah, but Steve Harvey, to go to his closing note, he says there's nothing sugary or sweet about giving so much of yourself to a man who at the end of the day is giving up so little in return to you. So what that means is, I mean, it's a dollar amount. A dollar amount is nothing to a man that has money, but your body and the value of yourself is worth more than that when it comes to sponsorship. So just take that with you as we close on the topic of sponsors, and we will see you again shortly next week with a brand new topic. It's up in the air now, who knows, but we'll be back in a week. And thank you for joining us with Real Talk with RhesaMarie. You guys have a great evening.